What's up, 12s? It's Loaf the Tupa with the Seattle Seahawks, and you're watching NorbCam.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you with another Coach's Corner. This time we are talking about, oh, look at this. I've got the wrong title page. It should say this. There we go. Should the Seahawks re-sign KJ Wright? That is the question. We are all still wondering about Russell Wilson, but really we're going to talk about KJ Wright. Give the Russell Wilson news a break for the time being. KJ Wright, obviously a free agent. He says he's not going to give a hometown discount, but he says maybe the Seahawks can get creative in some way to bring him back. So I think he wants to be back here. He's been here for a long time, and I think he's certainly earned it. And we're going to find out from Coach Marsh if he has indeed, by studying the tape, the tail of the tape, how good was KJ Wright in 2020. So we're going to get into all that in just a moment. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody, please do me that favor and smash the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I'd greatly appreciate it. It would do wonders for my channel. So let's get right into it and bring in the star of Coach's Corner. Here he is. My friend and experienced head coach for high school for many, many years. We worked together for at least over a decade worth of that time doing highlight videos for your teams. And so this is awesome to be collaborating with you on these weekly shows. For those of you who don't know and who might be watching for the first time, this is Coach Bill Marsh. Coach Marsh, why don't you give them a quick little intro about yourself and where they can find your material as well.
Hey, well, for those of you who've been following us now for a couple months, welcome back. Glad to see you in the super chat and all those other things. And for those of you who are new, I spent quite a few years coaching, over 2 decades, coaching at the high school level, and had some opportunities to also go to the college ranks, but it just felt like the high school level was where I wanted to make my name and do some great things. And I had a really, really fun career, pretty successful, but I don't like to get into my accolades. I'm just thankful for the assistant coaches and the players that played for me. And then obviously having Norb and his buddy Mike Lorraine that helped us with our highlight videos. They were kind of first in the country to have the all mic'd up stuff and some of those things. So fun to be able to kind of give back and make this just a fun, entertaining, hopefully educational component. And obviously I'll give some of my opinions, but it's never a personal thing. It's just having fun. And I'm as big of a 12 and a fan as anybody except for maybe NorbCam. So happy to be a part of it. And I do want to send a quick shout out to Sandy and the Long family. I will be connected with you as soon as I am capable of doing such. So hope to see you guys soon, and excited that I've got a granddaughter coming any moment now. So if all of a sudden Norb's breaking down plays by himself, it's because I'm jetted out to a hospital to go see a second granddaughter. So
are we that close? Are you that close to that happening any minute now? Any day?
We're in striking distance. Yeah, within days. So could be any moment. So they're within that kind of 4 to 5 day window. So you kind of know that it could be any moment. So
that's exciting.
I always claim, Norb, that I want to be the hippest grandpa in America. So that's why I listen to Eminem, and I break out some breakdance moves from 1984. I mean, I can only spend maybe half a time now compared to what we used to be able to do, right? So, so it's fun to stay young and stay energized, and then having not coached football for a couple years to be able to do something like this since retiring from the game, man, it's awesome. It's awesome.
All right. It is awesome. So I'm very happy to have you on here. I'm happy to have you guys watching on here as well. So we will take some calls at about the midpoint of the show and at the end if we have time. This will be a kind of a condensed show. Usually we go for a couple hours just rambling on and on, but I've got a hard out at 6:25, so we have to keep this kind of moving pretty quickly. So your questions will have to be quick and short, and we'll try to get as many as we can. Join the Discord, and you can get your questions in if you join on there on the live stream, or I should say the voice the stream game day voice chat, and then you can also call conventionally on the old traditional phone lines right there below, 515-606-5121. Enter the code 696153, and we'll try to grab some calls over there. They'll be quick, so just make sure you're ready. All right, Coach, you ready to jump into one of the greatest linebackers in Seahawks history? Still, hopefully, maybe come back. We'll see what happens. But KJ Wright, And I see my title still is incorrect. I got to fix that.
That's right. We'll get it fixed. I mean, I think everybody's still asking that question.
There we go. There we go.
No problem.
KJ
and
Wright.
If you don't get your fill from tonight, you can obviously watch, NorbCam, myself, and Squabble jumped on yesterday and talked about J.J. Watt and some other things. So plenty of NorbCam stuff you can watch if after the hour you haven't had your fill.
Well, I'm excited because I think most people, for the most part, do believe KJ Wright had one of his best seasons this year, despite how long he's been with the Seahawks. But let's jump into it, man, and go ahead and let's just take a look and tell us how good was KJ Wright in 2020.
Yeah, so I want to open as I get ready to show the plays. First off, if you're new to the channel, I will kind of try to show a play, but I'm doing it a little bit different this week. I've added a little technological piece. Now, sometimes when you add technology, that can cause some crazy things, but I preset some things as well. So you'll see some illustrations that'll come up that I did before the show to save a little time, and then I typically will just move my cursor around to show things. I won't always name people by name. Sometimes I'll go by position because, again, I want this to be educational and fun, and then ask your questions in the super chat, and Norb will be paying attention to that. So let's go ahead and look at play number one. And I will say, Norb, that after watching KJ all year, and I've always been a huge fan of his. I mean, huge fan of KJ Wright. I'm not going to say that he is in totality a better linebacker than Bobby Wagner. I mean, Bobby's Hall of Famer and everything else. But watching the film over the last week and a half since we decided to do this, KJ Wright, they often refer to people or linebackers or players as being a part of the FBI, which is football intelligence. Man, this guy has FBI written all over him after watching how he plays. And at 6'4", so I don't have to keep repeating it over and over, just keep in mind that he is 6'4" playing linebacker, that's a pretty good size height, and he is playing the Sam position. So a couple educational pieces. You usually have a Sam and a Mike and a Will, and your Mike is your middle backer, and your Will backer is usually the guy that's better in space, likes to fly around, run around. That's where he's been quite a bit of the time, where he could drop back, do a lot of those things. When you move to Sam, now you're expected to come up on the line of scrimmage a lot. You're expected to, play some stunt action when you're up there. You're asked to force the plays quite a bit. So that's what's been neat to see. Is I think of all the things they did this year, this might have been the best decision they made, was helping him move into a position that he will probably play more of the rest of his career. And Coach, don't they call it the will because the W goes with the weak side and strong is Sam because of the strong side? Is that correct, the terminology? Am I understanding that right? Yeah, I mean, just like, strong safety is strong side and free is the weak side. Same with those linebackers. Sam, usually when coaches are drawing it up, start with X's and O's, and if you're going to put letters in, you're going to put an S, an M, and a W. And most linebackers, at the younger level, high school level, we're teaching them to teach, for the most part, both sides. But when you have really good teams, then you really try to hyper focus on one side or the other because they are really two different positions. Your will backer, again, he's the guy that he's going to take on some slot backs. Some other guys, your Sam backer is kind of more the run stuffer that can come up there. And you might think, well, he's 6'4", he's a big dude. Yeah, but it also means you're taking on those running backs, those scat back guys versus when you can go run out in lanes and take on wide receivers and you get up high and make those picks and such. That's where he's played. But you're going to come to see that, man, his footwork, his football IQ. If you've ever watched any of his interviews, he did a great one on Game Pass a little bit ago, and then we're going to get to this play a few years ago. That it was just unbelievable to listen to him watch and talk through how he processes the plays, what he's thinking through. And I'm going to show you an example from 2 years ago as we get started here. So that being said, there's going to be a series of 3 plays. It's 2 plays. The second play is going to be the front and a side angle. The first play here is against Arizona. Again, this is 2018. And what you're going to see is Larry Fitzgerald out here at wide receiver. He's going to come down in a little zip motion. And because there's different types of motions, but usually you have zip, zap, and zoom, which is all the way across, or fly motion is all the way across. But usually if you just zip in here and you'll hear ghost. So those will sometimes be terms I use, and I don't want to dumb it down for those of you that have high football IQ, but if this is your first time coming to a football channel, I want to help you out as well. So ghost motion is what you see with receivers that are now starting to move into the backfield and faking reverses. That's ghost motion. Zip motion, coming right down, get ready to do a crackback. So what we get here, I'm just going to let the play run for the first time. Little zip motion. Fitzgerald looks like he's cracking back, and now he takes off deep, and you can see that he's chasing him down from behind. So I'm going to play it again one more time. So you'll see KJ's playing in the middle right now, but he's really, just so we understand, so we're not confused on what I just said before. Just because we say a guy has a Sam and a Mike and a Will, that doesn't necessarily mean they're always in the middle and then 2 guys on the side. They're rotating up just like you hear secondary guys. Strong safety might come down. Safety rolls back, And that's how you get into cover 3 and these other things. So don't worry about what I just said before in terms of Sam stuff. I'll talk about that in a second. But again, while you just watch Fitzgerald come down, do a little crack back. It looks like there's a running play going. The corner drops out. And as soon as he run, he comes up. By the time KJ realizes it, he's chasing it down. But it's important to just see the play as we head into the next play, which takes place the following week. So there it is, wide open touchdown. So we go 1 week later. Okay, this is the playoff game. 1 week later, and here they are, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Norb, you know more than anybody. And I know you play quite a bit of Madden now, so you're probably really figuring it out. This is a big-time copycat league, right? At every level, high school, college, and NFL. It's, it was wing T in the 80s, and it was, the West Coast offense at the pro level. And then in the 90s and 2000s, it became kind of single back slot receiver. And then now it's been spread and all these other things. So now you're seeing these jumbo packages, receivers constantly going in motion. And what these are is we call them commercials. So you got a receiver at the bottom here who's going to go in motion, just like Fitzgerald did. You got this jumbo package with the extra tight end over here. And what you see happening here is the FBI is starting to talk. Like, hey, this looks familiar. Now, he talks about this in a couple of interviews back after the game, even though they struggled a little bit at the end of that game, obviously, of what he saw there. And he says, I saw Arizona run this same look the week before. I didn't know what play was coming, but I had to hesitate a little bit on the run in case my corner didn't recognize it. So now let's watch what happens. Same play, zip down. The only difference is we get the motion, and there he goes. It's the exact same play. The difference is the FBI veteran makes the play on it. So watch it again. Coming down. Quick little hit. I'll let you read that here in just a second.
Donated a
$1.99. Now he's deep.
Super chat. Respect the time and efforts, fellas. Go Hawks, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Thanks for the shout out.
So I'm going to show this, and then I'm going to explain what I'm going to lead into for the rest of the show here. Okay, so here he is right here. Now remember, just a week earlier, that's 2018, just a week earlier, he saw that play. They got beat on it, and because the corner has to respect that run, so he has to come up a little bit. And he's a linebacker, and right now he's playing more like an inside linebacker because he's playing over the top because of the way the edge is and because of the defense that we're playing. So again, same play, end zone view. You can see here, but now the difference is he's looking right away, and he can see that these hats are all high. And linebackers are taught to read through the guards and the linemen to the running back. Read through the guards and the linemen to the running back. If those linemen are low and they're coming out hard, you know it's a run. But if they stand up tall, like you see here, all their hats are above. You got a double team, hats up high. Double team, hats up high. Double team, hats up high. Left tackle, hat up high. All he's looking through is this spot right here, and he can see no ball, hats up high. So what does he immediately do? He turns and chases a wide receiver that is not his responsibility. You can see right there, just fantastic job of the quick pivot. Watch how quick he plants on his right foot, knows he's got to throw the left elbow, turn, chase, run. And here's the best part that I want everybody to notice. And he said it in the interviews when I watched it. A while back, I remember him saying it because he's one of the best linebackers I've ever seen at chasing guys down and understanding the concept we talked about in the last Coach's Corner, which is usually saved for wide receivers and DBs. And that is, if you're behind the play and you know the receiver is still running away from you, that tells you the ball's being thrown perfectly. Go find the arms. Don't bother looking back, because if you look back, you're going to get separation. And he's not a guy that chases down receivers that often, right? So watch him chase down this receiver. Never looks back at the ball. All he's trying to do is catch up to him, and the moment he sees those arms go up, he's going to go battle for battle, his hands to elbows. And that's what you're usually teaching DBs. You're teaching DBs to go hands to elbows. So watch it here as it plays out regular speed. He's not even looking. He just goes after it. Could there be pass interference? Maybe, but it's such a quick play at full speed. They're probably not going to make that call, and this is late in the game when this takes place. So let me just play it a little bit slower here. Take it back. So look right here. Just the high knee, everything. He's driving. He's recognized this play. Our DB, I'm not going to go back to the side view, but our DB had choked up. Now, why is this important? Because he had to move into a new position this year for a lot of he didn't play it all year, but he moved into quite a bit. But the plays you're going to see coming up speak to an incredible football IQ and just how much this guy studies, feels, and appreciates the fundamentals. And in many, many interviews I watched while I was researching it, he would constantly bring it up. Yeah, I got to get back to the fundamentals. I got to work on my fundamentals. It'd be like the week of the playoffs. Well, all I'm focusing on are my fundamentals this week. That's a fundamental type play. So we will talk about that as we go a little bit there. Now we're going to skip to 2020. Anything on that, Norb, before just a little piece of the past there that we've seen for years, and I just felt like it was important to bring something that just showed again. He saw something the week before. Dallas had not run that ever, but they copycat it because, hey, Fitzgerald scored on it, so let's go. And they should have scored on that.
Yeah.
Easily should have scored. And our DB didn't do anything wrong. Our DB has to go down on that because the receiver blocks. He has to respect the run. I mean, it's a very hard play to defend. Our safety could have maybe got over there, but that's hard too. It's an incredible play for to make that interception.
Yeah, I remember we lost that game. That was rough, losing that wild card game at Dallas. So close that it came down to. But that was one of those plays that we felt like, oh, this could be a turning point to get this back into the game. When he got that interception, it was huge. Too bad it wasn't enough. But
and I'll be doing a lot of special team stuff because I love special teams, and that will be one of the things I bring up because why we just did a pooch onside kick to end that game is still beyond me. Like,
something we need to work on for sure.
Oh my goodness, holy cow! Okay, so now let's
2020.
get into the real stuff. 2020. Here we go. So this is against Dallas, and one thing I love about linebackers, and Norb, I've said it many, many times. My favorite grouping in all of football are the linebackers. I spent my whole career on offense. Yeah, my favorite thing to watch is linebackers and watch them get their stance, watch their footwork, watch how they play because they're the breadwinners on the defensive side of the ball. You build it from the inside out. You build it from the middle. You got to have three guys, and we've had three guys there for a long, long time. They were just underheralded because of the Legion of Boom. Yet all these dudes are stud group. So here's what we're going to get. At the beginning of the play, I'm going to let it just run. Like I like to let it run, and you're going to see Ezekiel do his little set and then break out. Awesome play from KJ on the backside. So now let's watch it in a kind of a slow down, breakdown tempo piece. Now, right away, you see hats come up, first step shuffle. And if you're new to the channel, one of the things I like to challenge people to do is you get ready to watch football for next year, as you're prepping for next year, practice watching just the lineman, whether it's end zone view, side view. Within a split second, you should be able to freeze frame, boom, and know if it's run or pass. And I would do that constantly. Coaches at every level are always doing that. Because right now, you should be able to tell if it's run or pass. Here's the thing. As soon as this ball is snapped, you can see that eyes have gone this direction. His eyes are in the backfield. So everybody has keys. You have certain keys you're supposed to read. This is the difference between a Hall of Famer and almost a guy who could be a Hall of Famer, right? He's already seen that it's passed. So now he's looking for who is his key. If he's man-to-man, do I have a receiver slot guy? What is my end doing? He's just going to be a fraction of a second before he does it. Okay, so now he's read the keys, and his key is probably I've got man-to-man on running back, and that's probably the reason why he's still staying there as well. So I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. But it's looking like pass. There's no play action. And what he does is, Norb, do you recall this rhetorical, unless you get it right off the bat? What is the number one thing that football is all about? The number one thing that football is all about angles. It's all about angles. And FYI, Norb and I do not collaborate on what I'm going to talk about or questions I'm going to ask on this show.
No, I've just been paying attention.
You do, man. I do. And I know because you bring it up when you're watching games with your dad. You'll bring stuff up. I'm like, all right, awesome. So his footwork and his angles are unbelievable. Footwork is crucial to make sure you're getting to the right spot, but you have to take the proper angle. Your footwork isn't going to matter. Well, right away, his first right step is lateral because he knows he has to cut him off. He doesn't know what the play is yet. For all he knows, Ezekiel could be going straight down the field. You can see that Wagner's looking over here, so he's got his vision on some sort of a crossing or anything that's coming, head on a swivel. But what's great is, he is already on a hard beeline because he can sense and see that there's going to be a release. He's recognized that this tackle is immediately coming out at him after a pass pro. Now, if you want to become really, really good at watching games, and I've had a lot of people, private DM me, and like there's kind of this common thread question of how do you watch football games? Well, I watch it as a fan with my family and laugh and cheer like all of you guys. So I don't sit there as a coach and try to second guess everything. I try to enjoy the game. On Mondays, then I'll break down things and stuff like that. How fast these guys pick up things, Norb, it's unbelievable. I know you've been down there. I've been very lucky to be on the field a few times because of my mentor. But when you get down there and you see these linemen, how quick they're moving, the linebackers, how quick they're reacting, all the different things. So the fact that he is able to recognize that it's a pass he may have a key here, but immediately he sees that this guard is leaning forward, which changes the perception of everything. It's no longer, I'm going to cover a guy that might be going deep. A great linebacker immediately realizes the only reason a lineman's coming after him is because now a pass pro has turned into a screen. It's turned into a screen pro, as they would technically call it, right? Screen is screen protection, pass pro, pass protection. So now screen's coming out at him. He's got to beat this guy to the spot. Because look, we're on a retreat mode because DB's covering there. His linebacker buddy is way back here in a coverage. And again, that's where he's supposed to be. So I'm not saying he's out of position. So he has to clean up this mess because if he doesn't, we're in a world of hurt.
He's got a convoy of guys running ahead of Ezekiel Elliott.
And you know me, man, I love screens. I wish we could figure it out. I think we will this year, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Hopefully it's Russ. But, I mean, the fact that he is able to beat these guys and sniff it out, man, it is awesome when you see linebackers or somebody else that can sniff out a screen. Because, again, you have 900 pounds coming out here getting ready to block. You know, you have 3-on-2s all over the place. And he ends up getting Ezekiel for a 2-yard loss. It's fantastic.
Great recognition right off the top.
Yeah, it really, really is. So, I'm going to go to the next player. And then after this one, I may go to a fourth one before we take calls, but we may do one after this because in the next set, there's a lot more breakdown to it because the plays are elongated. I just want you to see the athleticism and just have an appreciation for just the man himself, like these kind of intangible things. The remembering a week later that I saw a play, and he had to pick that up in a split second. Oh, a motion coming in. Is it motion? Okay, I saw that last week. FBI, I got to communicate. Interception. And then now that last play, sniffs out the screen. Boom, he's right on him. This one, you remember during the season quite a bit, Norb, we talk about the backside leverage, how when guys are running, when there's a bootleg or a play action or some sort of running play away, that the backside guy has got to maintain, he's got to stay at home. The most basic term is stay at home and keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. What so many guys do, even in the NFL, even after years and years and years, they'll start running up the field or they'll feel like, oh, I can chase this guy down because all these guys are zone blocking to the right. And this running place, it's a kind of a stretch that's running out here. Man, I'll just chase this down so this guy can't cut back against the grain, which is becoming very popular, right? The guys are coming back here. Beast mode was super popular. His Beast Quake run, even though it came on this side, it was here, bounced out, off he went. So here what we have taken place on just the regular play is a knockdown, which is different than a bootleg, different than what most people probably thought was going to come here. But let me show you what just makes this incredibly special. Obviously, just a guy that can knock down any passes, like it's awesome because you're teaching guys to get their hands up. But it's how he does it. And again, this is not a breakdown of a play like the next few are going to be. But right here, look at how he goes lateral. Having watched a lot of linebackers, I would put him in easily the top 5, maybe even top 3 I've seen of walk-up linebackers or linebackers that get up on the line of scrimmage. They have to play this backside, who on first step he crosses over, but now immediately look at his foot square up. His right foot squares up, left foot, and he doesn't cross his foot again. And he does this all the time, which allows him to be now in this great position, even on a Cousins pump, just a mini pump fake. Cousins smart enough to pull it back in, regardless of what you think of him. He knows to pull it back down. The fact now that is the pose right there. If I could get a poster, that'd be the second one I'd get of KD.
That's like an Air Jordan logo pose right there.
There's another one coming later that I will.
Oh, I think I know which one.
You know what it's going to be. But I mean, I have scoured film forever. Rare is the time that I've seen a linebacker go Spider-Man like this. I mean, it is because what you're doing is he can recognize that pump now took away his ability to throw over the top because he didn't bring it back. And he again, I'm not making this one up. This is him saying this in an interview. Because it was just a great breakdown of some things. He's like, yeah, as soon as I saw that the pump came back, I know that he has no time to then wind back up, go, ear to ear. So they like to say ear to ear and then a quick throw. Can't do it. He's got to do some sort of old Dave Craig sidearm, Mahomes sidearm. No, I'm not equating Dave Craig to Mahomes, so don't throw that out on the super chat. But look at that. I mean, he's got all 360 degrees. I mean, no matter where he tries to throw, He can scissor his legs. He can cross his arm. He can do whatever he wants. He's most likely going to bat that ball down, and he's maybe 5 yards away at most, and he's able to get that ball knocked down. I mean, that is unbelievable the way he bats that ball down. It's not thrown into his hand. Again, watch what he does. I'll play it regular speed, and then I'll play it slow-mo again. He doesn't stick his hand out and have it thrown into his hand like a D lineman. He bats it down at the top of the ball. Down.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that is on. When I saw that, I love the woo tackle and the woo hit. I wooed on that. Whoa, man! I couldn't believe that. And I get animated when I watch these things. But holy cow! Again, just for one last appreciation of it. This right here, I forget the movie. I think it was Rounders. Like, pay the man his money. Like, pay the man his money, right? Like, Malkovich. I wish I could do the accent like he did. He has so many of these type of plays that are like, and he's lined up next to a Hall of Famer. Pay these guys whatever they want.
Pay this man his money.
Yeah, there it is.
With the little Oreo on the side. Yeah. Rounders, great movie.
If I wasn't doing this, my producers, my producer could pull that clip up for you guys probably. But look, pull up John Malkovich. I think it's Rounders. Him pay the man his money, because this guy, I'm telling you right now, and you'll see the rest of the way why. I don't care if we got to overpay him. You do that with your linebackers. You do it with your linebackers if you've got solid guys like that. So we can either go to a next one, and the next one's now we're going to get into some pretty neat dive stuff. If you want to go one more.
Let's go one more just so we can get this one in the hole,
sure.
And we'll have some room for later. I don't want to shortchange you on that.
No. So I'm going to go to here.
Get ready for your calls, though. We're coming into the calls after this play. Ooh, look at this. We got arrows here.
Now we're going to now Coach's Corner is getting legit.
High-tech Coach's Corner. I love it.
Yeah, so here we go. So I preset this in so that we'd have some stuff. So here's what's going to happen. And this is a very common thing that, to me, it was the craziest concept when it first came out around 2006, 2007. And I never, ever tell stories on this show. I've yet to do that, but I got to tell a quick one. So our team was very lucky, and from a standpoint that we were invited to play, back then it was Questfield, week 1, last minute, a team had dropped out, and they said, hey, we'd like your team to come. Yeah, sure. And then they invited us to play a classification higher, the number 7 team in the state. And like, oh, man, this is going to be brutal. So my defensive coordinator I just hired says, hey, they're going to run this read option type of deal. We're going to do this, what I'm going to show you right here. And I said, no, you can't do that. We've got to have linebackers take on the guy coming into the middle, and our defensive end is going to have to take on, quarterback or whoever goes around the edge. But I put all my faith in him and his staff, and because I was an offensive guy, and I said, you know what? I don't believe in it, but I'm going to buy into you. And so we did it, and we ended up winning 8-6 because who was I to say? Because our offense couldn't score any points, right? Or I'm sorry, we were 16-6. But it was this type of a scheme. So here's what happens. And now ever since then, teams have been doing it. What's hard is you have to replace the X's and O's with the Johnnies and the Joes. So the X's and O's can look great on how to defend it. But when the Johnnies and Joes are guys like Kyler Murray on the other side, and you might have a great linebacker on your side, it becomes really difficult. What happens is, so on these read option, I think everybody pretty much knows what read option is, right? So you got running back that's going to come down hard, quarterback's reading the end, and his job is to check the outside shoulder of the end. If the outside shoulder of the end becomes inside to his shoulder, that's kind of the quick reference point, or if it looks like he's going to take away this dive, then you pull it out and you keep it, and your job is to just come hard around the edge. So this first set of arrows is our defensive end. His job, as soon as he sees that this tackle has come down and it's read option, automatic assignment is just crash down hard. And what's amazing is that it works. We have a blitzing outside guy, safety that's come downhill, so he's coming hard. He's also going to come hard around the edge. So they're trying to bring as much speed to take care of the handoff. And here's the position it puts our linebacker in, though. Puts your linebacker in a position where now he has to roll over the top, and now it's him one-on-one with Murray. That's not an easy assignment, man. So let's play this just a little bit out, and I'm not going to play it all the way through. I'm going to let you kind of watch as it goes. So as he comes out, boom. Here's the difficult piece. Right here, you could see that as he started to make it jumped a little bit. As he started to make his play, right as he comes around the corner, he comes hard to the inside because he doesn't see Murray at this moment. So as he's coming right here, he cuts it really tight. So remember, he started out back here, comes around, cuts it really tight. This is where his phenomenal footwork and understand angles comes in. Because if you notice back here, I have 2 different sets of things happening. He came hard, he comes hard, and then all of a sudden, his job is to make sure he keeps his outside arm free to everybody, to the guy that's blocking him, anybody blocking him or to a running back or to the quarter, whoever has the ball, stay outside of him. Keep your outside on free. You got 9 guys or 10 guys inside helping you out. You have nobody if you let Murray get around the edge. So watch as he loops around here, how he gets stuck, and then outside, nowhere to go. Dude, that is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal, the way he's playing that one-on-one, and the fact he made the tackle. It's not the fact that he just did his job and got the double loop around. The fact that he got to here, and this is a little bit tighter, it's out of skew a little bit, but he doubles again. You'll see Murray here. Murray tries to then beat him to the outside after the little bump here, and now Murray has nowhere to go, and all Murray usually does is he'll cut back inside and he gets 8 yards, 10 yards, runs out of bounds. It is just crazy good how well they play this. They just didn't do it, consistently, but here it is, outside. Now, the last part I'll show you on this, let's say Murray beat him to the inside. Why is it so imperative that this force, as we call it, again, he has force, corners have secondary force. Sometimes you'll just hear force and force, but to make it easy for people to understand, I always say linebackers force the play. Force it inside or out, but usually inside unless you're the Mike backer. DBs, you got the secondary force. You also have to force it inside. Watch how many guys come from the inside out. So if he misses the play, but he's done his job, other guys can make the play. Where's Murray going to go if he comes in there? Nowhere to go. Where's he going to go, right? So that's where we started making the turning point in the second half of the season, when guys started understanding their responsibilities and what they need to do. Similar to what I was saying about the New York Giants, and I'm going to come to you on the big screen here. Similar to what we have with the New York Giants, when I said it took them, a while, unfortunately it took to the point where they played us, to figure out their whole scheme with their new coach. Well, same thing here. It seemed like it took a while to figure out how we're going to use Adams, to figure out linebacker movement. Okay, guys have to get adjusted. What's the best way to play? It's not just all of a sudden we played teams that we could play better defense against and Norton's calling better plays. It's guys took their natural skills and ability, and now they didn't have to be thinking about stuff anymore. Now it became just natural, and you could just see the constant progression of how the team grew defensively into what they were doing. And that's why the cycle, I think, flipped the other way with the offense, right? They knew what they were doing. They just didn't change a lot. So the other team's defenses picked it up and they adjusted to it. But that's what this type of stuff right here, and you're going to see in the next couple of plays that we'll finish off with. His football IQ is as good as any linebacker I've ever seen. Wagner, off the charts, great player. And of course, his football IQ is awesome. But man, every time I watched KJ Wright, more and more, the more I just fell in love with how he played, his demeanor, it just everything about him, man. Again, I'm giving away. Usually I don't give away my opinion, but he's one of my favorite dudes, and he's quickly becoming my favorite dude on the Seahawks. Yeah,
well, he definitely had. That was just one of many great plays he's had this season. So remember that one definitely. All right, let's take some calls. Again, we're going to try and move things quick, so be ready with a quick call or comment. I'm going to try to take 2 from the phone line and 2 from the Discord. So we'll start with the phone line.
I got my special glass too, just so you know.
The one that makes you invisible. Love it. All right, let's try the phone line since it hasn't worked in a while, but hopefully it will this time. So let's go to Jason Hornsby. Jason from the 360. What's on your mind?
Hey Norb. Hey Coach Marsh. I just had a quick question. So I was curious. What is your guys' opinion? Do you guys think that we're kind of in a sense in the middle of a rebuild here with the season coming up?
Norb, go ahead and answer the question the way you think first.
I didn't quite hear it. It was breaking up a little bit there.
I think he said, do they think we're in the middle of a rebuild? And I imagine he's thinking that if we get rid of Russ.
Okay, I got you. All right. Thanks for the call. Well, I'm obviously this whole Russell saga. It's even in the middle of a KJ Wright thing. We're still talking about Russell Wilson. We have very differing opinions. If you might have seen from our show last week, I still have faith that we're going to get this thing done. Which means, if we lose Russell Wilson, could we be in a rebuild? Potentially. It depends on if we get a different quarterback in here. If that scenario happens. If Russell Wilson stays, we're definitely not in a rebuild because we're certainly in a win now mode. We're in win now mode, period, right now, with him on the team until the day he says he's going to actually leave. So I don't believe we're in a rebuild mode. If he does go, then I think that's possible. Things might change at that point. But I think we're in a win now mode. Coach, you think that too?
I think that as long as we have Schneider, we will always be in a win now mode. And as long as we have Pete Carroll, we will always be in a win now mode. If we were going to rebuild, then they would probably move on. But after the season we had, I get that we lost in the playoffs, but defense was great. As we finished the last 8 games, special teams off the charts. We still, the first half of the season were great, and it's not like we're losing a bunch of those guys. We're right in the thick of things, and there's no mega front runner. There's no dynasty. I get the Tampa Bay one, but I don't buy into that they're a dynasty in the making or anything like that. And the NFL, I just don't think that I think the time of rebuilding, I don't think it'll ever come back again because of the way they built this league. And I love the fact that they built the league so that a team can be awful one year and the next year it could be, in the Super Bowl contention. So I know everybody thinking that Russ is going to leave might change things. I don't think so. I think we'll get balanced parts if he does leave. It'll add to the, of course, it'd be a bummer. But yeah, I don't think that we will never be in a rebuild mode because we spent so much time rebuilding from like 1976 to 2000, about 2002. We were trying to build and rebuild. So, and
even when we were technically in a rebuilding phase, we were still making the playoffs. So, it's all the definition of what you consider to be a rebuild. But good call. Let's go
Schneider's too aggressive.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they've certainly not rebuilt since, except for maybe the first year they were here and they're making 1 million transactions. Let's go to the 604 from North Vancouver, BC, across the border. Who's this? Where you calling from? And what's your question?
Hey, Norb. Hey, Coach. It's Anish. How's it going?
I had a feeling. Yes, Anish. From across the border, man. How you doing? What you got?
Just doing good. Really love everything you can do, Coach. Love your work. It's awesome that you get to come on and do this for us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I love doing it for
Coach,
you guys.
I just want to, anytime. Coach, I just want to, give you a little bit of a promotion. I'm going to make you the GM of the Seahawks, actually, not the coach. You're the GM of the Seahawks now. And Norb, you're the coach. Now, I want your opinion. What do you think about the cornerback position? Because, Shaquille Griffin, he's a free agent. I mean, he's going to command some top dollars. Looks like if he gets to free agency, I think he could get possibly up north of $11 to $12 million, possibly. Do you think that we need to upgrade the position, or do you think we should re-sign him because he's, the right answer for us at the moment? And how about Posick? Do you think Posick will come back? And what do you think, as far as the center position? Because obviously, on the offensive line, we need to obviously make a lot of changes. So I just want to get your thoughts on that, and I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
All right.
$5
we've got a super chat coming in here.
Would be great because I've watched him play Madden, and it's pretty impressive. A lot of his play calling.
Would be okay with some other team.
All right, Jack Duvall with the super chat says, do you think Russ will get traded? If not this season, then in a couple seasons later? He said he would be okay with some other teams. Yes, that's the narrative right now. Well, let's get to the first question.
Go ahead and answer that one, Coach. And I definitely don't want to be general manager. I appreciate the promotion, but that definitely would not be my gig. I think I'd be awful at it. So I know what I'm not good at, and I would not be good at that. It'd be fun, but not be good at it. I'm going to go in reverse order. I think because I hope that they have an answer ready at center if they're going to lose him. Now, people are going to go, well, he's part of the offensive line that was awful and everything else. Again, we are probably not going to go high spike on some offensive linemen. We're going to be in that, $1 to $3 million, maybe $2 to $5 million range on maybe one. I doubt we'll get two, but maybe two. So you got to decide, like, how are you going to maneuver guys around, how much you're going to pay. Of course, we might get two, maybe three linemen, but I'm saying high-priced linemen, and you're obviously thinking draft too. So if they're gonna let him go at center, then we have to make sure that they have a bona fide plan. Like they either know a free agent they're getting in here, or they've already pinpointed a guy in the draft that they've done their due diligence on. They know that nobody else is going to take, and they're going to get him. But again, then you're talking a center starting in his rookie year. I don't think that's going to make Russ too happy either. He's going to want input on that, I guarantee you. Remind me the first question on DBs.
It was about cornerback. Shaquille Griffin.
Yeah. So the question in terms of, do we need an upgrade? Yes, we need an upgrade, but I'm going to say we need an upgrade in totality in the secondary at the corner position. I'm not taking safeties, but at the corner position, because you're usually going to rotate three in there, right? Because there's a lot of nickel that takes place. So I think losing Shaq, I think, would not be great. The trouble is we got a couple high priced guys, so we got to decide. We talked about Shaq last week, and we're talking about KJ this week. I really hope they figure out a way to keep both. I know we're not going to get a hometown discount from KJ, and we're probably not going to get any sort of hometown brotherly discount from Shaq. But I'm a big fan of Shaq as well. So I don't know you're going to get significant upgrade. He's just going into his 5th year. That's a lot of times when DBs are kind of getting rocking and rolling, and he's quick, he's fast. I showed last week some of the neat things he can do. So I would like to see us go and get, I know we have some corners that kind of bubbled up and down a little bit. I'd like to see us anchor down a good solid number 2, just like a wide receiver, right? You want to have you have 3 guys, but you want to make sure you got a stud as a number 1 and a really great number 2, and we have that. So defensively, you want the same thing. Have that stud at number 1, and I think Shaq is not studly, but he's in that stud material. I mean, he definitely can make some plays. He's a defensive fit guy. If we get the right defense, and Norbert, we talked about this last week, let's get him up there and bump and run and get him up there just driving on guys, then I think he would be an all-pro guy. So that's the component that I would say on those 2. Upgrade it, but find a second guy, and then make sure that centerpiece is squared away before you lose, bark in the water with the bone in your mouth, and now you lose everything.
Good analogy. Let's go one more, because I know make sure we don't run out of time for your diagnosis here. So let's go to the KC Sportsnerd. KC Sportsnerd, I'm bringing him on because, 1, we haven't talked to you since your team, the Chiefs, lost the Super Bowl, and 2, it's your birthday tomorrow. I have not forgotten, my friend. How you doing?
Yes.
What's on your mind, KC Sportsnerd?
Wow, man, thanks, man. That actually hurts kind of a little bit. But the question I really did actually want to especially we're talking about the defense side of the ball. I want to ask you guys, since the J.J. Watt signing, which defensive line do you fear the most in your division?
Rams. To me, it's not even close. And I get the 49ers are awesome. Arizona, I think, will come up a little bit, but I think the Rams, 49ers, we seem to be, we're definitely not okay with them. We struggle with them from time to time, but there's something about the Rams defense that they just have us. It's not so much that they're better, they're just absolutely better at all positions. So when I say that the Rams, it's not downgrading the 49ers or saying I don't fear them. I fear them in an alley just as, like I'd fear the other 2. But if I'm walking down the alley and I see the Rams defense, I know that they are always seeming to kick our butt no matter what we do. Again, hopefully this new offense is going to, do the right things. But that defense has faced that offense over and over and over again in their own practices. All OTAs, all other stuff. Yeah, they'll sprinkle in who they're playing in preseason and everything else. But when they're just doing offense versus defense, they're going against the offense that we are going to be running. So is San Francisco, right? So it's just like they're both tough. J.J. Watt, I think, helps them because they have some studs, but it'll be a little bit before, at least my opinion, before they really get into a flow. But latter half of the season, they may be rocking and rolling. And just know that when I, as a global thing, when I say a group is great or a player is great or somebody else is great, nobody's great all the time, right? Like everybody has their bad games or their bad series of games, But so when I do say that I think someone's great, it's because I think that in totality, over a 16-game healthy season, I'm going to put them in a great category. And to be great means you're top 10. Great means you're at least 7 to 10, in that ranking. Once you drop out of the top 10 in your position, then I'm not going to put you in the great category or fantastic, one of those things. So I just want to make that clear. And same thing with offensive linemen. Just because I say we need to go, get a significant upgrade and get better, we are really, really strapped on the offensive line in terms of what we can pay money-wise. So just know that when you hear that we're going to, when we spend an amount that you think, oh man, we just spent a lot. Well, if we were really going to go out and get a great offensive lineman, we're not paying either of these 2 players in terms of our linebacker and our corner. So don't expect us to bring in an 8-figure lineman. Not going to happen. So even the best lineman we're going to get, I'm probably not going to say is a great lineman, but I have to embrace it as it is the best we're going to get, and I hope that it's the right lineman for the offense we're running.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you. Rams first, and then Cardinals right behind them, because I think both of them are probably in Russell Wilson's head as far as pressure and nightmares of getting sacked and hit.
And Aaron Donald's just he's just a step above the rest of those guys. And again, I know Bosa's great, and J.J. Watt, he's up there. I think sometimes because of he's out there kind of publicly, sometimes he may get a little bit more recognition and more of the kind of the flaunt than everybody else. And again, I'm a huge J.J. Watt fan, but I'd probably rank him, Aaron, and then Bosa, and then J.J. from that. And JJ probably isn't the best defensive lineman on his team right now that he just went to, right? So
yeah, but paired up with Chandler Jones is a pretty formidable pair.
Paired up, and now they become probably the best pair. They become the best pair, right? So I don't want to face any of them, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Can we go back to the old AFC? Can we go to the AFC West?
Yeah, no kidding. That's one thing that Tom Brady did not have to deal quite with as much as. He didn't quite have such formidable defenses when he was having that run in the AFC East. Anyway, let's go back to the because we got about 15 minutes left, and I don't want to run out of time. So, Coach, let's jump to your next play here. We'll maybe squeeze in some questions if we have time at the end.
Okay, so this is arguably the best play that he made all year. I think everybody's going to be relatively familiar with it. It was a play that took place on Monday Night Football, so a lot of stuff to look at here at the beginning of this play. The orange is I represent it with Minnesota. Obviously, the yellow is the one guy that's making the play here that we're talking about. It's basically simple zone. It's a bootleg play. So a play action pass coming, quarterback's going to run this bootleg. What's phenomenal about this again is the angles. And you'll see as I break it down, the basic receiver's running a drag route, but he runs a little bit of a vertical first. So most times when you run a bootleg, you're going to run a guy deep off the front side, a drag on the back side. We used to call it a gold bullet till it became not PC to call it a gold bullet. But you kind of wait till the safety falls asleep to throw the backside route here. And then sometimes your running back will slip out or what have you, or tight end comes across. So in this position, they run a very traditional bootleg here. He's going to run off, drag going out, very hard to defend, and it puts KJ in no man's land is what you're going to have. And so what happens is KJ sees the play. Now, right there, you can recognize that he did exactly what he needs to do. Lineman goes down or tight end takes off or whomever's moving this direction. So he has to flow with that. He keeps his shoulders square. He doesn't get anxious. This is where it becomes very tough, though. He now is in one of the most difficult positions a defensive player can be in because he has to make a very educated decision here based on film study, based on the quarterback that's playing. If this is a different quarterback, he may have to come up and just attack it. But then he's going to give up a wide open guy behind him because he knows the defense they're playing is a bail, turn, and run. So he's gone. Safety's back deep. I mean, there's nobody in this range right here. So as I get to this spot right here, you can see that this top circle where nobody's in, that's where he's going to make the interception. Okay, let me just back it up just a second here. The first one here, this is where he's going to make the interception. So you can tell he just now took a peek to the inside. Again, absolutely phenomenal. It's what you would expect a great linebacker to do. So first he read the play, saw bootleg. Instead of just going lateral and I don't know what to do, he drops 45-degree angle, takes one peek to see where is the receiver and at what depth is he. I'll guarantee you he probably saw this and either thought, oh, he's exactly where he needs to be, or, oh, man, he's really deep. He ran a vertical before he ran across, which means I've got to change my angle to go back the other direction. So now as the play continues on, you'll see that he starts to run backwards, and as he goes backwards, he just took another peek. So just before I put up the second triangle, right there he took his second peek because now he has to see what is the angle of this receiver. Receiver came up the field. Receiver was going at a deeper angle, and then the receiver started to flatten out. Well, that tells you you need to change. You need to change your own triangle. So now this triangle just got tighter, but he's still going to end it. He's got to end up in the spot. But where he started from here back to here on the first look, he changed his angle to there on the second look. Now he's going to change his angle, and he does all of this, Norb, backpedaling. That's what's crazy about it. He doesn't once turn his body, doesn't turn his hips sideways to where we always say the poorest position in football is when you can see both numbers of a player at certain times. Obviously, there's times you got to turn and run and such. But you want to stay square or you're turning and chasing. Instead, he does this perfectly, and now he's at the spot where he knows the quarterback is not ever even going to think run. And so where does he get to? He gets to right here where now he's in a spot of, I know he's throwing, and he's squared up. So now I'm going to change my angle again. I'm going to backpedal, straight back. So he's gone from, he literally does 4 angles. I'm not going to go back to all of them. He started up front. He went down to the right because he saw a potential running play, stayed squared. Then he backpedaled at a 45-degree angle. Then he changed his angle from there, changed his angle one more time, which got him to this spot. And now as Cousins is getting ready to throw, now he goes into straight backpedal mode. And man, oh man, does he make one heck of a play, right? I mean, that is awesome. And I don't care how much sticky stuff they have on their gloves. You still have to be in the proper position. So here he is at the beginning of the same play. This is a great angle to see that. Norb, tell me, does this look like Madden to you? It looks exactly like when I first pulled this up from the ends of you. I said, did somebody slip a Madden play in the All-22?
It's very Madden. It is very, very Madden-like.
It's shaped at the ground. I mean, it's so funny. So, again, what I want you to watch, and I'm just going to let this play after the spot shot. I don't have any other graphics on it. Watch how he stays lateral, and look at how big he is. Like, good stance, good stance. His stance is so much bigger because he's a huge dude. And I get that he's closer, so I understand that through watching Norb do video for years. Okay, so here he comes. As he comes down, just watch how he stays nice and lateral here so he can see everything. Lateral, back angle. Looked again. Now he's going to go back. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time. Just watch how this time, just watch his head. When he backpedals, he takes a peek to the right after a couple strides, back to the quarterback, and then he peeks again. And each time he peeks, he just slightly adjusts his angle to be in the – even if the ball's perfectly thrown down low, it's going to be intercepted, or it's going to be overthrown out of bounds. I mean, it's flat out awesome. Okay, here he goes, back pedal. Here comes peak 1. There's peak 2. Now he's going back, sees it, makes the play.
One-handed at that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just fantastic. Boom. That's the poster I want to have right there. I mean, that is great, great, great play. The vertical, eyes up on the ball, highest point. And now, I don't care they didn't circle out because he had to do everything he could to reach it. He couldn't get that left hand up there. He's just trying to maybe knock it down, but he got the old Lester Hayes stick him on the gloves.
It helps. That's where being 6'4" helps a lot. And not to mention, Kirk Cousins severely underthrew that ball, by the way. I mean, look how the receiver's turning back to look at it. But, hey, all the more better for a great play by KJ Wright.
Yeah, Cousins, he threw out a few words in the English language I didn't want the young people in the crowd to see on the replay of him.
Oh, right, so here we go. Painful game.
Painful game, but man, oh man, one of his better. Like, he did a solid job, especially on this play. So what you're going to see here is a dropout of him. So it looks like we got a lot of guys coming. He's just going to drop straight back. And again, what I love is how his head is on a swivel. And when I say head on a swivel, it's exactly what I mean, right? His head is constantly looking around. He's obviously recognized that this formation before is some sort of a pattern where somebody's probably going to come across the middle based on what happens. So I'm going to let you watch the play first just at regular speed so you can see how he plays it again. He's going to drop straight back, and that outside receiver is going to be coming across the middle. And he's got the vision set on both quarterback, guy coming across the middle. And right here, this last part is where I'm going to take us back to. Right here after the peekaboo. Okay, as he starts to make the play, now you can see he's got 45-degree angle set right there. But most guys, when they're coming on a crossing, he's got to know, I've got to get in front of him. I can't hit the guy at this point. There's going to be some sort of legal hit down the field. So he has to trust that his instincts first of all are going to be, I've got to go chase this crossing route. So his first angle is going to be coming out this direction. Now, thank goodness for this guy that he didn't keep coming across. I'll guarantee you Adams would have blown him up. He'd have given him a snot bubble, as we used to call it. But what happens is, watch the tremendous footwork of adjusting angles for a big guy. He's at 45-degree angle here. He maneuvers back, and he does this double hop plant, which I love when players can do this. You usually see running backs do it in the backfield when they're shifting. They run to behind the line of scrimmage. Le'Veon Bell's the best I've ever seen at it. And they do a little skip, so they land on the same foot to get that quick adjustment. Most linebackers right here are going to bring their left foot back, set it down, bring their right foot forward. He hops and gets that right foot back down to get a 90-degree plant. Look at that perfect angle, lean angle. That's how you go from going backwards to forward in a heartbeat. Now he's going forward, but here's what's great. This guy does a stop, or a pin is usually what the NFL term is most commonly used as. So he started as a crossing route, or if it's a bootleg, as a drag, he's running this crossing, and then he does a pin. He stops at the head of the pin, boom, right there at the center. Well, KJ's coming here. He's absolutely beat. If this guy gets the pivot and the ball's thrown perfectly, which it pretty much is, but the fact that KJ is able to plant again and just go hard right angle to his right, not exactly right angle because I know he came from here. I don't know if that's obtuse or acute, Norb. You're the math guy.
I think that's acute, actually.
Right,
it's even that much more impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. So let me just watch. So now that you see what he's going to do, I'll play at regular speed as the final time. Watch how he plants, comes forward, and the fact that he just plants hard again and goes to the right. I mean, it's just very athletic, but it's understanding angles and using your footwork to make those angles. Plant, cut, hard dive, make a play. And I've talked many times about that 3E effort. You know, guys that know their assignment, they get to the play, and then there's something a little extra that makes it 3E, not 3D, but 3E. So here he is. What I love from this angle is you get to see him, and I'll let it play full this time. As he's dropping back, just watch his head. Like, very few linebackers move their head as much as he does. But it's nice for a fan, because as a fan, you can at least go, oh, he's genuinely looking around. It doesn't mean the other linebackers aren't. But if you're going to coach younger people up or coach fans up, this is the guy you want to watch. Doesn't have fear. But it's just neat to see two guys that, like, God, I hope they finish their career together here. Like, they're just a great tandem. Okay, so here, just watch his head. He is talking, he's looking, he's talking, he's looking. He knows what's coming. He's looking right at him. And then, but they ran a little adjustment off of it, and he still makes the play. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Head on a swivel for sure. He was looking at him the whole time, almost till the end, and then he was just kind of looking at the quarterback to see when he was going to make the throw, and almost perfectly timed it was incomplete, right? He didn't get the interception. It was incomplete, right?
Just incomplete. But
still, great.
And there were quite a few other plays I could have pulled that were interceptions, but to me, just that making those angles, seeing the guys coming. That's just a film study thing. It's an adjustment thing. You can't buy that. You just can't buy that. You either have a guy that has that instinctually or they don't. That's not really you don't really learn that along the way. Guys just have the innate ability. They learn it themselves through film study and everything else, but they have to have that tangible piece. So these last two are actually quick things I think would make everybody go, oh yeah, that's why we want to have.
We got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes to do it. So let's do it.
Here it is. Boom. That's all I'm going to show on that one.
Wait, see it again. It just went so quick.
Yeah, I'll show it from the end zone also.
Okay.
Boom. Okay, just so you can see that, again, a guy who's in a spot where he's playing different positions. We've seen him play in the middle area here. We've seen him play up on the line of scrimmage on the weak side, the strong side. And again, weak and strong side can be to the left. Weak and strong side can be to the right. I'm not going to get into what explains which side is strength and weakness, the weak side. But you got a lot of guys here that can make a play against one guy. And again, his first move is to the outside. He knows that he has got to maintain that outside leverage. So he doesn't just shoot his gun up the field. He goes outside in and just, kaboom. Here it is, and boom. That is leverage. That is tremendous leverage when you can hit a guy that hard, not wrap up, and have him just like, boom, stumped in his track. So let me show you from the end zone view. And I don't care who the running back is. You still have to be in a good position. That is just, it's, that to me is not dangerous. Like some people might look at that and go, well, gosh, that looks like him in a helmet, his head's down. Not for him and the way he made that hit. There are other plays that I haven't seen him make, but others would, that I would never show. So just know that if I show a play on this film, I'm seeing it as a play that's not a dangerous play for either guy. I will never show something like that. Now, the exclamation point on why we better ink this guy. Norb, do you know what I'm going to show here if I just showed that hit?
I know. It's the blowing up the fullback for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's one thing. It's one thing to blow up, to blow up the backup dudes for the Jets or whatever. It's a totally different thing. I didn't know if I should woo or boom or woo boom or boom woo on this one or what, man, because this is what happened in the game when we were watching it. Like I said, very few times do I stand up during games. Maybe 7 or 8 times this year. That was definitely one of them. Because football to me is like it's a break, right? It's a freedom. It's a time to just relax and just with all the stresses we have going on. For me, how do I watch the game? I want to just enjoy it, relax, and just be whoever the little 7-year-old in me comes out. The high school coach in me comes out. The dude who likes to play flag football with the kids. It all comes out when I see guys that just play and have fun and they're doing it. But this isn't a one-time deal with him, right? Yes, this was a huge hit, and the best part that we all kind of talked about was we had never really seen that side, and that's what I'm going to end it on. We'd never really seen that side of him before, and yeah, they still patted it. Like I love that he can be that guy that crushes you, can kind of jar it at you, but you wouldn't turn to your kids and say, "Oh, no, don't watch him. He's not a good, he's trash talker." Like I don't mind trash talking. I tell kids like that's a part of what goes on. But everybody respects him, and he's not doing it in mean spirit. He's just saying, "Hey, I'm letting you know I'm here. Like, don't ever come across here again." Like he does it in such a cool way that he's a bad man, but he's just a good dude, right? He's a good dad. He's a good football player. He's a good teammate. He's everything we need here, Norb.
Yep,
the guy's everything we need here.
I agree.
And very rare. We haven't done one yet that I've been Usually I give a little bit of 50-50. This 100%, every single play I was finding on him. Of course he made mistakes like they all do, so I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time, but he's worth the money that he's asking for.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great breakdown. I love that final play. It's very Camp Chancellor-esque, the way he hit him. And we don't see a lot of those plays these days where that you don't get a flag thrown on you. So the fact that he did it and did it legally was an awesome display of power. So it was
I like
great.
the defense riff coming back, and I really, that's why to me it's not rebuilding, right? I mean, defense, shoot, sometimes I wish we could put our kicker in there for a few plays, let him blitz a few times. You know, 'cause we got guys that can hit. You know, it's just I think we get that couple things done on the offense, which I think we're doing. You know, for sans Russ, coordinator, other things. Like I'm excited about 2021. I know other teams are picking up bigger players or what have you. We're right there. We have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot
Always.
to fear. We have a lot to fear.
We have a lot to fear, but we could be feared as well. So
Absolutely.
great breakdowns. I apologize. We are out of time, so I won't be able to take any more calls. So I apologize for that. But I do before we wrap up.
Do anything on me, man? I hope everybody, you guys watch Norb. I know he's going to put some things here, maybe some over here.
Yeah, more Coach's Corner videos, maybe something else.
Pay attention to last minute stuff. We've done a couple of cool last minute things. So have your channels ready to go, or have the alerts ready, because I know Norb, he'll call me when I'm shopping and say, "Are you ready in 10 minutes?" I do whatever I can to be there, ready to go for you, man.
The news is happening fast and furious. There'll be a bunch to talk about tomorrow, roundtable wise, with just free agencies, teams, lots of changes going around the league. So I do have some impacts potentially on some of our players. So yes, but stick around. This show may be over, but there's plenty more to watch right here. So thank you guys for watching. Check out Coach Marsh's Coach for Life channel as well. Sub him up. And until next time, go Hawks.
Yeah, right here.
That one.